Bonjour. So another 6 of the best this week, of the best releases. I'm cheating a little bit, you know. I seem to always be cheating every week now, but there is one from last week, and an eagle-eyed viewer did realise I'd missed this one out. They knew that I hadn't got it because it wasn't in my 6 of the best, and it always is. And that comic book is Darkwing Duck. The wings that flap in the night. So yes. I know. Just give me a moment. So from the ridiculous to the sublime, World Tree issue 2. Great book. That is. Yeah, that's just shaping up to be. It's probably going to be, like I say a lot about with these independents. It's going to be sensational in a graphic novel format, and they don't chapterise it. These are good writers. These are good creators. They're good editors, publishers, colorists. Everything is great with these books. I recommend, and it doesn't. I'm not saying in a detrimental way to the monthly format when I say that I mean be a cracking graphic novel. What I think I mean is you can binge it, so that you get those little, those tiny, minute story threads that maybe you might miss in a monthly format when you've got it right in front of you, and you might get through 3 or 4 issues, chapters in one go. Anyway, World Tree number 2. I know that the first issue went to second printing, so it's obviously doing really, really well. So I do thoroughly recommend that. I don't think I've done this for a while now. Detective comics. This and the Batman books over at DC, they are good. I know I've harped on about the Dawn of DC, but this is the regular Detective Comics that is at issue number 1072. And it's some glorious artwork and storytelling there with a proper gothic, creepy Batman, like kind of halfway between the modern take and Tim Burton's take. You know, he's got a beautiful gothic element there that I really do enjoy. Doctor Strange, issue 3. Let's do some Marvel this week, because obviously the truck crashed last week. So again, this was really interesting issue. This is getting to the this is proper Doctor Strange, which isn't running around shooting off firebolts and punching people, or letting Ms. Marvel do it all like in the cinema. Don't just forget that last film. This is a good run of Doctor Strange, a nice run. Actually, spoiler alert for Amazing Spider-Man 26. Now, if you've seen any advance, I think all the advance news on this issue, but spoiler alert, incoming. When I do the deep dive, I'm going to leave it for now. Now, this finishes off on the death of a character, right? And what Zeb Wells has now got to do is get on with it. This is issue 26, and I think I've said this in the past. John Romita Jr. is the only reason I keep getting this book. He's got to get back to basics of the character. He's gone on this big arc, this big journey, and fine. I've been with it on and off. I think it's been stretched out too much, which is, if you follow any of my comic book videos, Zeb Wells isn't the only writer that does stretch this stuff out. I think it's just the modern storytelling. I think when they come up with an idea, they say, oh yeah, we can get a graphic novel out of that. Whereas back in the day, that would be one issue of a comic. That would be Fantastic Four battling Doctor Doom, and they've got to win the day, and that's 32 pages. And Stanley and Jack Kirby would hammer that one out. Now, it's all Fantastic Four versus Doctor Doom, right? So in issue 1, we do this, and in issue 2, we do that. Anyway, you know I love the Fantastic Four at the moment, and you know I love comics, so I'm not you know where I'm going with that little, permit me, a little bit of critique. And on the same note as Zeb Wells getting on with it, Jason Aaron has brought this Punisher, and I know it's been controversial for a lot of people, but I think you all know that I've been singing its praises, and it does end well. It does end well. You know there's a but coming. There's a 2-page epilogue in this that for me personally doesn't bode well. I've loved this storyline. I've loved it, because a lot of people were saying, "Oh my God, he hasn't got the guns anymore, and it's not the Punisher we all grew up with." And I know it isn't, but I've liked this different turn for a story arc, a 12-issue story arc. Call it 2 graphic novels, call it what you will. But the epilogue, I don't know if they're going to go there, but I will wait and see if it's the same. If it's the same team that have done these 12 issues, I'm obviously going to get it and try it out. But I've got to admit, I thought after this, they would have to get the Punisher back to basics. They would have to literally flop him onto the street like Mr. Bean. And the same with Amazing Spider-Man. Flop them both back onto the streets where they belong. Have Avengers in it. That issue of Punisher's got all the Avengers in it, and it's handled beautifully. Really done nice, because they're the jury in what they should do with Frank Castle. All the members that we've seen in previous issues, Moon Knight, Captain America, Black Widow, blah, blah. But this 2-page epilogue, which I will show you, so that's 2 spoilers. Please beware. Amazing Spider-Man 26, if you don't want to know who dies, stop when I'm doing my deep dive, please stop there. And also the epilogue of Punisher. 2 big spoilers there. And I know that doesn't usually happen, to be fair, but the Marvel books are big this week. Ooh, skirting on the controversial. But I still love it. And, just one quick honourable mention is Avengers Beyond. This is still a stonking read. Still a little bit Captain Marvel heavy, if I'm honest, but I think it's Greg Land's artwork, a bit like with John Romita Jr.'s artwork in Amazing Spider-Man, that keeps me. Greg Land he can tell a story. I know it's being written by someone else, but he can roll that story out. So just one honourable mention on Avengers Beyond. So let's get onto the deep dive after the scroll. Okay, let's get this over and done with. You know I need to get this one out of my system. Darkwing Duck. Let's go. Issue 5. And Amanda Diebar and Carlo Loro on this, and everyone involved, but particularly them on this book. I'm so enjoying it. Still after 5 issues. I know I said it like in issue 1. It just the writing is so. It reminds me of the Saturday morning cartoons that I grew up with when I was a kid, and that's why I really love it. Even the fact that they've given him the water's too cold. He's having a massage. He's having a spa day. And shut up. You can only do this in cartoons. You can literally only do that in cartoons. I love it. He recognises this as one, a statue I trapped Liquidator inside. So you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. Here's Liquidator. And then all the action ensues. It's just top. It is just top notch. This for the art and the writing. Luckily, I have my handy dandy homemade X-ray vision scope. It's just, yeah. Listen, I won't linger on this one too much. I won't, but the puns, wave hello to the future, the water puns and stuff like this. It's a little chill, it's Frozen. once again, Darkwing Duck has heroically frozen crime in its tracks. So, you know, there are puns aplenty in this. And, you know, go and get these. He's telling, oh, I forget his name now, but go and get the Thunderquack. Here it is, the Thunderquack. Now he's on the phone to his daughter, who's not allowed to have a mobile phone. So she's saying, well, you know, what are you doing on Honker's phone? And she's saying, well, you wouldn't let me have a phone, so whose phone am I going to use? Like, that's her mate Honker, the little chick. So there's even a little bit of, you know, a little bit of real life familial controversy thrown in there. They're on strike outside the school, and you know, the supervillain of the story is this is the first part in a two-parter. Wow. Yes, and they're hypnotising the kids and etc. So here we go. You know, the wings that flap in the night. I love it, and I think you know, it's just does exactly what it says on the tin. Forgive me if I forgive me if I quack on about it too much. But I really, really do enjoy that. And I've been really enjoying this as well. Now, there isn't really much to show in this. I know I did issue 1. And obviously I'm doing the second issue, but this is there's not a lot to show as in art style, and what I do like about it, as you can see, is they cram a lot in. This second issue really is just introducing us to issue 1. Kind of introduced us to the story, the larger story, and where you think it's going to go. This second issue is kind of nicely setting out the main characters, or steering us towards what we think are going to be the main characters. So obviously there's not really a lot going on for me to show you as such, other than to say this is a really nice art style for this story. I like this, you know, where the colouring comes into it, the lettering, you know, pages like this, very modern style, but it isn't diminished any the less. Another character from issue 1 that's quite central, and this is the mysterious naked woman. So yeah, you know, I'm kind of going through it to a certain point. Look, like I say, there isn't a lot to show apart from a lot of great character development, and then things start going wrong. I'm going to leave it there because otherwise, yeah, it's just big spoiler alert this week. I think I don't really want to go for those spoilers, but Weltree, it's a slow burn of intrigue that I am really enjoying. So from something very ultra modern to something very, well, yeah, I'm going to call it traditional. Almost a Frankenstein looking character on the cover. This is someone that is on the this drug that the bad guys have brought into Gotham. The Ars, is it called Arsum? I forget what it's called now. Look at this, how sensational this artwork is. This is the second part in this story arc, and this story arc is a wonderfully, almost operatic in its staging. It's a grandiose, it really is a grandiose setting for this storyline. You've got Nightwing, Batgirl, Oracle, well, he's not Commissioner Gordon anymore, but anyway, it's Commissioner Montoya. But look at this stuff. You know, without going into the storyline, what more do you need to, you know, Nightwing's on the case in a certain area. Batman's in the tunnels. And the scene with Batgirl. I mean, this is a fantastic art job on this action scene. Before this guy Asthma, sorry, that Asthma is the stuff that is, you know, sending people mad, and a bit like, you know, Bane or who's the other one, Solomon Grundy, whatever he is. So I thought this was very, very nicely done as well, where it's very Batman-like, but it's Batgirl. I thought that was very cool, and I love the panels in it. I love the just great storytelling. Small panel there, closing, and then I just loved it. Just it's a sensational art job. Um, you've got Gordon and Montoya here, and she's kind of saying, well, to Gordon, well, why are you're still, you've been demoted, but you're still listening to Batman. Like, what's the matter with you? But things are still kicking off. That's why he's saying, no, we still need great action set pieces. Look at the cape. Just love it when someone's going for it with Batman, and it really is as you can see, like I've said before, the gothic feel of this storyline. But in modern Gotham, really enjoying. Then we come right up to date. This is all kind of like artificial intelligence kind of tech. The lettering, this I don't forget what she's called now. What is she called? The Eye of the Serpent. And he's saying, look, I've had Crane's toxin, Mad Hatter's mesmerism, Ivy's pheromones, and then so he's saying, what have you got for me? And then this lettering kind of is something else apart from that. Nice. Back to the other gang. Just a really, really cracking story. But I can't wait to get to the next. And then the backup story is the origin of the Organ family and one of the characters, which is tied into Ra's al Ghul. Very, very interesting. A nice way of looping everything in, which I thoroughly enjoyed. This has been worth getting for months and months. But I don't know whether I've recommended it before, to be fair. I think I might have recommended it in the last story arc. But anyway. Right, Alex, another beautiful Alex Ross cover. Doctor Strange. And little prologue, one-page prologue. We don't know who this is. Right. Then we go on to one day a year when Doctor Strange, it's called the Parlay Day. And guess who turns up? Dormammu. I love that. I don't know if Dormammu's doing that or what, but the body that the person that we saw in the first page, who we don't know, this is just a random, but Dormammu has possessed him, and he knows he on a parlay day they can't fight, but there's nothing stopping Dormammu winding Doctor Strange up, and he's basically saying, look, I know we're going to have a little talk and we're going to chat through things, and I still want to kill you and you want to defeat me, but the one thing you can't stop me doing is exhausting the human soul that I've inhabited to get here, which is the guy, just a normal salesman, but he is a Dormammu acolyte. Just a really interesting story. What I also did love, and I did want to start digging out old comics, but as they're having their chat and they're talking about their past battles, I love this editorial, like Strange Tales 127. That's got to be mid-60s, that issue. And then Doctor Strange Volume 2, Issue 9, Sorcerer Supreme Issue 2, like the way they're chatting through their, like I say, through their past battles. And it carries on. There's a couple, look, references about, I love that. There's a little bit of, just this one panel's explaining the story that they're talking about, the Defenders. Really good. But what he does, what Doctor Strange basically does is he has his chat. And this is what I said in my introduction. This is what Doctor Strange should be. It isn't about him punching Dormammu or always about sending different forms of lightning at each other. This is just him outwitting Dormammu. And he ain't happy about it. And getting this man's soul back. Jean Grey makes an appearance, turns up. Nice. Yeah, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it. It wasn't over heavy. It wasn't heavy on script or description or anything. It let the story unfold. And third issue, really, I'm really enjoying. This is one of the best Doctor Strange runs of many a year. Thoroughly right. So, spoiler alert, I'm going to warn everyone. I'm going to warn everyone again. A spoiler alerts on this issue of Spider-Man. So, I don't know whether to tell you now or, what to do. But all I will say is it enough for me to keep, it's enough to finish off this storyline. But I've got to admit, it's here in my recommendation because it is one massive send-off. And I'm going to tell you who it is now. So if after all these spoiler alerts, you're still here, then that's on you. It's the death of Ms. Marvel. And of all the characters in the modern Marvel universe that have been created, it is a lame one as far as I'm concerned. This is, again, a stellar job from John Romita Jr., as always. This loose style is getting to remind me a lot of when Frank Miller started loosening up his style from Ronin onwards. I don't know why I just thought of that in this issue. It's a lame character. It always has been, and she dies in this issue. Other spoilers. Beware. The big bad in this storyline, I can't remember his name. The two imaginary kids from another dimension, they're gone as well. So basically, in this issue, we're returning. I'm hopefully, we're returning everything to this issue. When you compare this lame duck character of Ms. Marvel to the heavy hitters that they've got in it, the Fantastic Four, and even this new supervillain that they've created, even MJ with her wristbands, it comes across stronger than Ms. Marvel. But she puts in the ultimate sacrifice. It kind of makes, they don't make the most of the Fantastic Four being in this issue, and it's all about the send-off. It's all about the send-off. We're led to believe that it's MJ, but it's not. It's Ms. Marvel. I mean, this is cracking artwork, by the way. This is cracking artwork. This, for 2 pages of, what I'm like, and I love the fact that you could take the word balloons away and still know what's going on. Just take them home. Take all the word balloons away. Just look at the frame by frame by frame by frame. Love it. Absolutely love it. So that's and if anyone's wondering, well, why have you put it in your recommendations? It is because it is the send off. If you like this character, then you're going to be sad. I mean, it just left me cold, to be fair, because the character wasn't one that I followed ever. So, to be fair, the kids, are they? And he's gone, no. That chokes me up more than anything, because you can imagine how a mum would feel, even if it isn't, and even if these children have been conceived in another dimension, and there's something in the background and blah blah blah. Just a lovely more poignant scene than a so-called major superhero dying, but she ain't major really. Nice last page, to be fair, but they must. Zeb Wells has got to get on with it now. I think we've all given him enough slack. We've given him enough slack. Get on with it now, mate. And I won't say any more about it. But I just thought, that's a landmark issue. And I know this cover is a homage to a Silver Age cover. When I think it's when MJ gets it from way back when. So, all nicely done, nicely packaged. Obviously, John Romita Jr., Zeb Wells isn't the worst writer in the world, but he's been allowed to fart around for 2 years now. And he's got to start telling some succinct storylines and get Peter Parker back on the streets, get Spider-Man back on the streets. And this is what they've got to do with Punisher now. Because like I have said many times before, again, beautiful artwork. Jason Aaron on the storylines, and is it Jesus Size with the artwork, and the other guy, as a cassetter on the Jesus Size on the modern day stuff, as a setter on the. They have done a stellar job for 12 issues. This is beautiful artwork. It's gorgeous, and the storyline has been cracking. And it has all come to this. It's all come to this beautiful colouring. Doctor Strange involved, Captain America, Wolverine, Moon Knight, more flashbacks to one of his first jobs where he just wanders into a mafia bar. And, you know, this is one of the first things he done before he had the skull on his, on his chest. And then he gets the Inquisition now. This is the judgment from all the goody two shoes. So we've got Doctor Strange. I know Wolverine isn't goody two shoes, but he's kind of saying to him here, look, you do me, better do yourself next. Do it. You think you're so good? Wolverine is not happy. Not happy. Moon Knight, Black Widow, Moon Knight, they're all trying to judge him. Then we have a flashback, to his early days. This is nicely done. It's nicely done in a deconstructionist way from Maria's viewpoint. And again, this is big spoiler alert. The end here, by the way. It's not, by now Maria's alive, the wife that died in the original. But they're saying that Doctor Strange has, which I don't get, which Doctor Strange has kind of released her from the magic that was keeping her in the castle, wherever it was, as a kind of hostage of that. Like Doctor Strange has released the hold, and I thought, if you're going to go this way, holier than thou's, I don't know whether Doctor Strange should have done that. I'm not sure whether he should have done that at all. The dead should stay dead, really. Captain America realising that, oh my God, he's got one more trick, and he spots it too late. Take him down. He spots it too late. Look at this artwork. It's glorious. Which leads me on. Doctor Strange can't, the Punisher is no more. Right, fine. And he's alluded to the fact the Punisher's being held prisoner at the Sanctum Sanctorium in the underground. And Doctor Strange alludes to the fact that it could the doors lead anywhere. And the epilogue, this story should end there. Whatever conceit we need to get the Punisher back on the streets, like I'm saying about Spider-Man, let's get the Punisher back on the streets now. That we've done the new logo with the beast and the hand and the fist and everything, right? For me, this has been a sensational 12 issues. I know he's got a little message here as well to people, and many ninja were harmed in the making of this. I'm forever grateful to all of you who supported it. Stories wanted to tell, blah blah, and he goes, obviously, he goes into the definition of a tragedy, and he wanted to tell this as a tragic story. Great. Then we get to the epilogue, where basically what the Punisher has done is magic himself through one of the doors of the Sanctum Sanctorium, and he's in the weird world. Now, I've got to admit, everyone, I don't know if I'm up for that. I don't think I am up for. It feels like a real bad epilogue. I'd rather it not have had these 2 pages in it, and maybe they'd announced it or done whatever they needed to do. I can't think this has really weakened everything. So he's in a fantasy realm now. I mean, as Marvel sunk that far that they've got to do this now with a character like the Punisher. A character like the Punisher should be challenging us. It should be challenging our views on vigilantism and you know, the right wing and firearms and whatever you want to call it. It should be challenging that and not shying away from it. And now he's in the magic world. Yeah, I think you can tell that. Anyway, I will leave it there because I have enjoyed all 12 issues. That's one thing I will say. So, cover of the week, guys, is a little bit of a slam dunk for me. So the cover to sell a comic. I mean, I know Spider-Man has got every character. Every character. You know, it's got Avengers in it and everything. I don't even know why. I don't know if that's Hawkeye or not. I don't even know why he's in there. He ain't even in it. And other than that, I mean, Darkwing Duck, you know, chasing a ball, you know, the paint, someone's painted, you know, he's kicking a football. I thought this is really funny, but you have to look at the detail because it's one of the old-fashioned bombs. I think even like a fan of the films and not the comics would love this cover with all the bad guys, and he's got the Captain America shield. I really do love that, but then again, I love Greg Land's artwork. But I know there weren't many releases this week, but that's cover of the week. And I know I didn't mention it in the sixth because the interior isn't great. It isn't the greatest, but that cover, if you couldn't read what character was in it, you're gonna know that's a Power Girl special. And it's beautiful artwork. And I did look for the credit for it, but the signature didn't match up with who they said. Martinez, I think they said, was credited with the artwork. Anyway, whoever the artist is on this, that is spot on for Power Girl. And if you want to sell a Power Girl comic, then they sold it to me because I'm not really a fan, but I've bought it and it's not a great storyline, to be fair. Inside, it's all right, but that's why it didn't get into the sixth. But it is the cover of the week, and on that note, I will leave it there. I will thank everyone again. Please keep putting a little comment, even if it's a liked that, even if it's a little thumbs up. Please, really do appreciate you all for doing that. If just go mental and subscribe, that's even better. But thank everyone so far that is really helping me to grow the channel at the moment. I really do appreciate it. Thank you ever so much. And I will now bid everyone adios.